Hey, it's Yesenia, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the time that I had jaw surgery. So when I was 15 years old, during the winter break during the winter break in my sophomore year of high school, I had double jaw surgery. So I'm going to be talking about the process, the actual surgery, like the process before the actual surgery, the recovery, and I don't know, the whole thing of like looking like an entirely different person afterwards. Why I had the jaw surgery, I had a hugely underdeveloped lower jaw. It stopped growing when I was like 9. And my teeth also didn't touch, so it wasn't just like an underbite. The orthodontist called an open bite. So basically, like, my mouth was like that. And my jaw stopped growing when I was 9. I had like the lower jaw of a 9-year-old, so not only was it like really short, but it was also really narrow. So it just like made me look like a balloon. So the main problem with it wasn't like just the way I looked, because my lower jaw was so small, and I had an open bite. Food would constantly fall out of my mouth while I was eating. Like, ask anybody, every time I ate food, like, it would just fall out and I'd be so embarrassed. I wouldn't want to eat in front of everybody, in front of anybody. And like, I always had like my hand over my mouth when I ate. And because I had like a messed up jaw, I developed TMD, which I don't know what it stands for, but it's basically like a joint disorder. So I'll get lockjaw, or it'll get stuck and it'll hurt really bad. Yeah, then the doctor suggested that I should go through the surgery. Most people end up having to wait until they're, I believe, 21, but for some reason they were like, you know what, we could do it on you. Even though I was 15, which is 7 years younger, or 6 years younger than what you're supposed to be. I had the surgery 2 days before Christmas Eve. So on December 22nd, I went in. I had been researching what the surgery, like what goes on during the surgery a lot. And in a lot of the posts, people were like, yeah, I woke up and immediately started throwing up through my like wired shut jaw. So I had like a lot of anxiety because I have emetophobia. And so I went in and they gave me an anti-nausea medicine so that even if I had to throw up the blood that was in my stomach, I wouldn't. So I remember being wheeled in and the doctor just like putting the mask over me. And I remember Holy Night was playing in the background because, right, it was near Christmas time. And what they did was they broke my upper jaw and they moved it slightly down. And they broke my lower jaw in 2 places, once right here, and they moved it forward. And then they also cut my chin and move that forward. What I should have done beforehand was like fix my lips. Like, I should have been moisturizing for days beforehand, because then when I woke up I had like cuts in here, because they have your mouth open for like hours. I think the procedure is like 5 to 8 hours, something like that. So I had like cuts right here. And then I remember when I first saw myself after surgery, I was so scared because I looked like Jay Leno times 5. My face was like so swollen because I had also had my wisdom teeth taken out at the same time. My face was really swollen. I was really like panicked because, I don't know, I was also really like high on the drugs they were giving me, so I was scared. Anyway, so then like after, I think I stayed for 1 or 2 nights and then my parents took me home. So what happened was, during the recovery process, you're not allowed to eat solid foods, and which wasn't even really a problem because after the surgery, I was not hungry at all. My mom had to force me to eat because I didn't want to eat anything. I wasn't hungry. But so what they do is, why you're not allowed to eat is obviously they just broke your jaw and had surgery on it, so they wire your jaw shut. But mine wasn't wired shut. Instead they put like a bunch of rubber bands, like the really tight ones from the dentist, so I couldn't open my mouth. And so for 8 weeks I had to like have liquids. So I remember for the first week my mom was like force feeding me with a syringe like chicken soup to the back of my throat. It was it was bad. It was a really bad experience. I remember I had like a couple panic attacks because the whole surgery makes your face so swollen and then your jaw is wired shut. And so my sinuses were swollen and I couldn't breathe. So I remember just like panicking, and my mom, she was trying to be as helpful as she could, but eventually like you get frustrated with somebody who's just like, you know, like, because I didn't understand. I was really messed up. After the surgery, I had to have my face wrapped up. So I had like this face wrap that just kept everything together. It was supposed to help with the swelling. I also had, like, there were things where you could put in the pockets for like ice. And then they also prescribed me Vicodin. So I was taking that a lot. Like they had me on strong stuff. Yeah, but the Vicodin didn't really help, you know. It took a little bit of the pain away to where it just was like a numb throbbing, but it was still extremely painful. So yeah, like as I was healing, I had bruises all over my face, and then like obviously the scabs in my lips, and my lips were all like cut in the middle, and then my skin was all shiny down here because it had stretched so much. So during the 8 weeks that I couldn't eat, I lost a lot of weight. I lost 30 pounds, which actually was a huge blessing in disguise, because I was overweight before the surgery, and I was pre-diabetic, and my knees hurt and my hips hurt because like I was overweight. And after the surgery, I was at a normal weight for my age and height, and my pre-diabetes had gone away, and I had had it for like 2 years, and it was gone after the surgery. So I lost a lot of weight, which is not me advocating for starving yourself. Don't do that. I had done this over winter break. I had about a month and a half before I went back to school. So during that time, the swelling went down enough to where I wasn't, I'll put a picture right here. My face was obviously still swollen, but it wasn't that bad. What we figured out as the swelling went down was that my surgeon made my chin way bigger than he said he was going to. He was only supposed to advance my chin by like 3 millimeters or something like that, and he did 10 millimeters. Like, that's a whole centimeter. He was like, yeah, it's the largest chin enhancement I've ever done. And the thing was, he didn't ask our permission for that, so he just gave me a really strong chin. And yeah, anyway, I learned to love it. I was really happy with myself after the surgery. Obviously I felt great for the first time in a long time because I had lost all that extra weight that was making me feel like so tired, like I had no energy. I didn't have a lot of self-confidence before surgery. I didn't like the way I looked. Yeah, so I felt pretty for the first time in a long time. And you can tell because I posted a lot of pictures of myself after surgery, and I don't know, I was feeling myself. Yeah, so after the surgery, my whole, like, this whole area stayed numb for a really long time. And then, like, from my bottom lip down, that stayed numb for, I think, a year. And then, like, this area right here still has nerve damage. And so, like, what that did while I was healing is I would feel like I was drooling. And sometimes I was drooling, but I couldn't tell because like it was numb, but so it would just feel like a tickle. But then sometimes it wasn't me drooling, it just felt like I was drooling. And so that doesn't really happen anymore. Sometimes it happens, like sometimes I'll drool and I'll not realize it because sometimes this area of my lip goes numb still, and it's been 5 years. Yeah, but I remember the recovery was hard. So that was after surgery. That was the whole process. What the surgery did was it fixed my jaw. I stopped snoring after surgery. When I was finally able to eat solid food again, I remember the first time that I ate solid food, I choked. I choked on pizza because like I wasn't used to chewing and my jaws got tired, and then I just like kind of inhaled it and then I was choking. I didn't tell anybody I was choking. I went in private and like gave myself the Heimlich because I didn't want anybody to know that I had just choked. Now I'm going to talk about what the surgery didn't do. The surgery didn't permanently fix my TMD. It's back. The surgeon had told me that it probably wasn't going to be a permanent fix because once you have it, it's there for life. Now I'll still get lockjaw. It'll still hurt sometimes. It'll still pop sometimes, but it's not as bad as before the surgery. The surgery also didn't, like, you can't have the surgery and expect to have an amazing jawline afterwards. While it made my jaw longer, it didn't make my jaw wider. So my jaw is still really narrow. So I don't have like an amazing jawline. It kind of just like fades in with my neck, but that's fine because I wasn't doing it for cosmetic purposes. It was definitely like medical reasons. I really needed to have it done. I would do it again. It was one of the most painful experiences in my life, but it was 100% worth it. I guess the only thing I would change is I wouldn't have let the doctor, or I would have, I guess, I don't know, because it's not like I'd let him make my chin so large, you know, like he did it without asking. I guess if I had to redo it, I would tell him not to do that, you know, like it's fine. It's part of who I am now, but it took a while to get used to how I looked, because before I had no chin, and then all of a sudden I had a huge chin, and I just learned to accept it, I guess. But it was weird. It was weird getting to know my own face again. But yeah, so that's today's video. Like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate all your support, especially all my friends who have subscribed. So I'll see you next time. Okay, I'll tell you what. If I get paid, I had like all these fun videos I'm supposed to make, but I haven't gotten paid yet. So if I get paid, my next video is going to be super fun. Really unique DIY costume. I'm so excited to make it because nobody has done it yet. And I'm like, I don't know, like it's exciting. I want to do it. I'm really hoping I get paid, so fingers crossed. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye.